This is Barry Zalma speaking for Claim School Incorporated's blog, Zalma on Insurance. Today we're going to talk about why a restitution order cannot be discharged in bankruptcy and why California's dumbest criminals must pay restitution. After Freba Tipton and William Tipton pled guilty to committing insurance fraud, they were ordered to pay the victims' restitution to Nationwide Insurance Company of America. Nationwide had obtained a civil judgment and an award of $1,200,000 in civil litigation against the Tiptons, only to have the judgment discharged in bankruptcy. Nationwide then petitioned the trial court to convert the criminal restitution orders to civil judgments against both defendants. The trial court granted Nationwide's petition and entered civil judgments against the defendants. In Nationwide versus Tipton, the California Court of Appeals on May 26, 2023, agreed that the restitution order could be made collectible as a civil judgment and not subject to discharge in bankruptcy. The facts of the case started when, after a fire destroyed the Tiptons' home, they filed an insurance claim in which they overstated losses related to the contents of their home. Nationwide alleged in court filings that among the overstated losses was the claimed loss of an original Vincent van Gogh Starry Night painting, which is still safely in a museum in New York. Defendants pled guilty to a felony insurance fraud allegation and no contest to a felony perjury allegation, and the trial court placed them on 5 years of formal probation. After informing the defendants of their right to have a judicial determination of the amount of restitution that would be owed to Nationwide and holding an evidentiary hearing to determine the amount, the trial court ordered the defendants to pay $792,597.22 in victim restitution to Nationwide in 2016. Though defendants were later able to have the award against them discharged in federal bankruptcy proceedings, the order of discharge explained that, quote, debts for most fines, penalties, or criminal restitution obligations were not discharged. In 2020, the Probation Department informed the parties it would cease its efforts to collect restitution because probation had expired, although they should have moved to incarcerate the Tiptons for failure to pay restitution, which was a condition of their probation. The trial court agreed with Nationwide after the hearing, and the court entered civil judgments against each defendant in favor of Nationwide for over $1 million, accounting for the outstanding unpaid restitution plus 10% annual interest. California law provides, quote, in which a victim has suffered economic loss as a result of the defendant's conduct, the court shall require that the defendant make restitution to the victim, close quote, section 1202.4. A trial court must order full restitution. A restitution order imposed pursuant to section 1202.4 subdivision F is enforceable as if it was a civil judgment and is enforceable in the same manner as is provided for the enforcement of any other money judgment. As made clear on the criminal order of restitution used in criminal cases, Penal Code Section 1214 provides that once a dollar amount of restitution has been ordered, the order is then enforceable as if it were, and in the same manner as, a civil judgment. The Victims' Bill of Rights of 2008, known as Marcy's Law, amended Article 1, Section 28 of the California Constitution by expanding and constitutionalizing the protection of victims' rights, including the right to restitution. A victim's constitutional right to restitution cannot be bargained away or limited, nor can the prosecution waive it. Victims are first in line to receive any money collected from criminal defendants ordered to pay restitution. Because the California Constitution guarantees crime victims the right to restitution, and that right is given a broad and liberal construction, and statutes regarding the right should be construed in the context of the relevant statutory scheme. Analyzing the law, the Court of Appeals concluded that the trial court did not err when it converted the restitution orders, as it clearly had authority to deem the money judgments pursuant to Section 1214 subdivision B, and properly did so. While enforceable as if it were a civil judgment, a restitution order is not a civil judgment, and the victim restitution statutes demonstrate legislative recognition of the distinct and separate right of a victim to pursue a civil remedy, irrespective of the restitution order. The plain language of Section 1214 equates a restitution order to a civil judgment and articulates how such orders can be enforced within the criminal courts. But if a civil court is asked to convert such a restitution order into a civil judgment, as in the case before the Court of Appeal, it is not error for it to do so, and the judgments were affirmed. In my opinion, to claim that they lost the original Vincent van Gogh painting Starry Night was stupid enough, since it is located in the Museum of Modern Art in New York and has been there for many years. Should have made the fraud claim easy for Nationwide to prove, and apparently did, and makes understandable the civil judgment and the restitution order. Even though they discharged the civil judgment in bankruptcy, they could not discharge the restitution order. Nationwide can now collect over $1 million from any assets the Tiptons have. They violated the terms of their probation by not paying restitution, and actually should have been put in jail for violating the terms of their probation. They were not, and now the Tiptons should consider their freedom from jail a lucky award from the probation department, and should do everything they can to pay the restitution order. This video was adapted from my blog, Zelma on Insurance, which is available free to anyone who clicks on the URL zelma.com/blog, where you can view this blog posting and more than 4,550 other blog postings. It's also available free as a video on rumble.com and on youtube.com. And if you like these videos, please click on the like button or the thumbs up button on Rumble. And tell your friends and colleagues so that they too can subscribe to the blog and or the videos. And if you wish to learn more about insurance and insurance claims, for a small fee, you should consider subscribing to my Locals community or my Substack publication. Thank you for your attention.